welcome to Dark Magical Gaming. My name is Mike, this is your first time here, and today I have a real treat for everyone. I did manage to take a break from playing Dark Magician for a week, and I did play something a lot different. The deck that I piloted this week was Dogmatika Nekroz. I'm not going to go super in-depth on this one as I would like to make a IRL video about this deck, but I'm doing it on Dueling Book as a lot of the cards that I used in this deck I had actually borrowed from some people, such as cards like Diviner and the Dogmatika cards. So once I'm able to get with those guys again and have the actual physical cards, I want to do more of an in-depth profile. But I will go over a couple of my choices and things that you can do in this deck. So start things off with 3 Diviner. Obviously you have a lot of targets for Diviner in this deck. Double Ecclesia, 1 Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Maximus, triple Gamma and the Driver, as pretty much all of your effects, such as Prep, Nadir, Brio, and Colossus, all activate with no monsters on the field. We have double Shuret, which, if you're not familiar with the deck, can be used for the entire tribute of a Nekroz monster, and then also searches a warrior-type Nekroz monster. We have the new guy, Nekroz of... I'm not even going to attempt to say that one. 3 Brionac, 1 Colossus, 1 Trishula, 3 Unicorn, 1 Valkyris, 1 White Knight of Dogmatika, 1 Dogmatic Calamity, 3 Nadir Servant, 2 Nekroz Cycle, 2 Nekroz Kaleidoscope, 2 Nekroz Mirror, 3 Preparation of Rites, 1 Rhoda, and 2 Dogmatika Punishment. Side deck, we have 3 Dinko Sekka, 3 Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode, 2 Book of Lunar Eclipse, 1 Duster, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 3 Evenly Matched. For the extra deck, we have 3 Elder Entity Entis, 1 Fossil Warrior, 1 Titanic Lad, 1 Mathmech, 3 Herald, 1 Omega, 1 Wind Pegasus, 1 Emerald, 1 Toad, 1 Phoenix, and 1 All Mirage. So, I wanted to play this deck for a long time, but I never liked how Nadir Servant couldn't dump Arclight, but after we got White Knight of Dogmatika, being able to send Arclight and get both this card and this card is just incredible. So if you're not familiar with White Knight, you can only ritual summon this card. You can ritual summon this card with Dogmatic Calamity. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. If your opponent activates a card or effect, except during the damage step, you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, look at your opponent's extra deck and send 1 monster from it to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to half the combined attack of those monsters sent to the graveyard till the end of this turn. So this is a good way to be able to trigger cards like Entis, Titanic Lad, Herald of Arclight, anything like this on your opponent's turn as well as rip cards like Verde and anything else out of their extra deck that's important, such as like Cyber Dragon Infinity, Battle Butler, things of that nature. Dogmatic Calamity is also a pseudo Kaleidoscope. It lets you ritual summon a Dogmatika ritual monster by sending 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard whose levels equal the level of the monster you're trying to ritual summon. So normally Titanic Lad, but you can also do Omega as well. This was absolutely phenomenal. I love these 2 cards. Mathmech is here mainly as a Kaleidoscope target to be able to go Valkyris plus Unicorn. But when I was building the deck, I thought that I needed a reliable win condition in games where Protect Unicorn to Unicorn stun out my opponent wasn't viable. So like control matchups. So I got the idea where if I could use Diviner to send Arclight to search, and then I have Diviner with Brionac on the field, I can make Mathmech, which just is an alternate win condition. It only came up once, but it's definitely worth playing because, as I stated before, if nothing else, it's a target for Kaleidoscope. So definitely play him. As far as everything else goes in the main deck, 1 Colossus, a lot of builds play 2. I'm not opposed to 2. Normally, after you get the first one, they all take you to the others, so you normally don't need more Colossus. But there was a time or two where I kind of wanted another one, so I may go up to playing 2 of this card in the future. And I likewise, I'll probably go down to 1 Shuret because this guy was just so dead. Like, you're never going to resolve 2 out of your hand. Normally, you're going to use 1 from hand and then banish the other one for mirror for the entire tribute from the graveyard. So the extra deck, you have, or the side deck, we have Dinko Sekka and Sphere Mode. Normally, whenever I'd put these in, it's going second, so I just take out Diviner. Because Diviner is very strong in the deck, but Diviner is a middle ground card for this deck. It's not so much needed as it is in decks like Drytron, so you can easily swap it out for these cards. Book of Lunar Eclipse is probably my best side deck card. I played all day. If I had to do it again, I probably would end up using Book of Eclipse because people kind of try to play around Trishula by not having cards in their hand. So you can kind of do the same thing with Book of Eclipse, but during the end phase, they'll always have pretty much at least one card in their hand as long as you book one monster. And then lots of back row removal because I figured that I needed to be able to beat things like Anti-Spell Fragrance, Imperial Order, anything like that. So we went a little heavy on the back row removal here. Extra deck, the only card I really ever made in the actual extra deck besides the Math Mech the one time was All Mirage, and this is so you can go like Diviner, Send Search, Link All Mirage, Special Ecclesia. Never made Phoenix. Toad is kind of for late game, sending off Nadir Servant, Punishment, or White Knight to be able to add any of your waters back. Never got to use Adagnister. I used Omega a lot. Sometimes, depending on how your hand is, you can go through all 3 Arc Lights on turn 1. So having this is very strong. Titanic Lad. Skull Knight did come up. Skull Knight's very good as a Kaleidoscope target for Bryonac, so you can bounce back 2 and then pop 1 with Skull Knight. And then Intis was just Intis. And like I said, depending on the matchup, what you're playing against, you can take out like 1 Unicorn if it's not good. You can take out Diviners. You can take out a Punishment. But this was pretty much my first go around with this deck. I did manage to get first place with it. And I do like it. It's a very interesting idea. I think now it's just going to be perfecting the ratios. Like, I kind of wanted Gungear instead of this card. I never summoned this card a single time. It was dead in my hand pretty much the entire day. Never wanted it. Never searched it. There were several times I wish that I had Gungear to protect Unicorn from destruction. But that is definitely what testing is for. So if you guys want to try out the deck and you have some suggestions for me, like I said, this was my first time piloting the deck. I'd be very happy to hear your suggestions. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, in the coming weeks, you can look for a in-person deck profile. My friend Austin Wood, which you might recognize that name from the channel, is starting to play the deck. He liked it so much. He's a big Dogmatika guy. He's always looking for new ways to play the deck. So after my success with this deck, he really wanted to pick it up. And he actually got my Nekroz deck off of me. So I don't even own the deck anymore, but we're just going to kind of share the deck back and forth now and each be able to have a turn with it whenever we want it. So we'll definitely work on this and perfect this deck. So if you liked the video, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Drop a like on the video. It encourages me to make more videos like this, more deck profiles, more Dark Magician Journey, things of that nature. And definitely don't forget that the finale of the Dark Magician Journey is coming up in the coming weeks. It's going to be a great conclusion to that series, and I hope that everyone will enjoy it. So without further ado, this is Mike from Dark Magical Gaming, signing out. Peace, everybody.